Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Barbara. Thank you for stopping by my channel, A Gardener's Journey Homestead. On this channel, we talk about everything related to homesteading. That is growing a garden, cooking from scratch, preserving in many different ways. And so I'm glad that you stopped by. If you're brand new to me, I'm in Zone 7A in the state of Tennessee. And so if you are in my state, rep your state below. And if you're not in my state, still rep your state, right? I'm glad to be here. And this channel is all about helping to encourage and to inspire and to motivate you to grow more food, right? What does my shirt say? Garden goals, grow more. Like if you just are only growing lettuce, I want you to grow lettuce and tomatoes. I want you to grow lettuce, tomatoes, and peppers, right? I want you to do all of the things, right? Because I believe that we need to be more in control of our food, what we eat, where it comes from, sustainability, and all the things. But in today's video, it's an exciting day. I always look forward to this day. It is garlic harvest day. And so if you are a brand new gardener, let me just tell you, garlic is one of the easiest things to grow. You literally put it in the ground and forget about it. So I planted this garlic the first week of November, I think like November 2nd or 3rd. It is now the first week of June. So it's been 7 months and the garlic is ready, y'all. It is ready. And so I can harvest all my garlic and then I'll have 2 empty beds that I can fill with more stuff because while we're growing more, we are growing more. And so garlic really is one of the easiest things to grow. You get you some organic bulbs. You can buy them online. I bought my bulbs from Mad River Garlic Growers. This is the 2nd year that I've used them. And yes, I've heard that you can buy store organic garlic and plant and do the same thing. I've never done it, but I'm pretty sure it would work. So you just put your garlic bulbs in the ground. You know, you space them, 6 to 8 inches apart. You water them in, cover them with mulch, and voila, you have garlic. And so what I planted was hardneck garlic. I planted several different kinds of garlic. I want to say that I did 4 or 5 different kinds this season, and normally I do 1 bed of garlic. That's what I've done for the past 2 to 3 years. I did 1 bed of garlic, and that's not enough to last us the whole year. So this time I did 2 beds of garlic, and then I also have some in my outside garden. I have about 20 bulbs out there. But I did a little cheating. Last week, I came out here I'm like, the garlic looks like it's ready. And so let's talk about how do you know it's ready. So I'll turn the camera around and let me just show you a couple of things. So when I said I cheated, I came out here and pulled 1 bulb of garlic just to see like what we're looking like. Are we good? Are we ready? Let me show you that first. So this is the bulb of garlic and I don't know if you can tell how massive that is. Look at that. Is that not a beautiful head of garlic? I'm so proud. I'm so proud. So I pulled this about 4 or 5 days ago and I'm like, we ready. We are ready. Okay. But let's talk about how do you know when it's ready. Okay. So let me turn the camera around. Here's my bed of garlic. And I showed you, if you watch me regularly, I showed you like about 2 or 3 weeks ago that it was forming garlic scapes. And I still see I got some garlic scapes that came after I harvested the scapes. But the scapes is, let's see, this little curly part right here, right? This is a garlic scape. So you can see that here. And I can tell this has been on there because it's really really woody. Woody meaning it's tough to the touch. But you can see for hardneck garlic, it's going to produce those scapes usually a couple of weeks before it's ready. But then you can see that my garlic tips have all turned brown, so to speak, and they're starting to die back. That lets you know that it's ready. Okay. So I pulled 1 last week. Let's start and pull the next one and see what we get. So let me see if I can show you this. I got a trowel here just to kind of help remove some of the dirt from away from it, because you're going to have to give it a little tug right? And oh my goodness, this is a huge one. Give it a little tug. And look at that. Oh my. Y'all, do you see the head on this garlic? That is massive. So far, we have 2 good ones. And if I had to guess, this is probably like 8 bulbs. And I don't remember what kind this is. So I'm gonna have to go back to my video and see what I planted in this bed. What kind of garlic I planted in this bed. But whatever kind this is, I want more of it, because look at that. So I'm gonna time lapse and harvest, and we'll show you the end product of this bed. Okay, y'all, first bed is done. It's hard to see out here because the sun is so bright, but I just harvested 32 bulbs of garlic from that bed, and most of them, I would say 90 to 95% of them, are just the same size that I showed you before. And I saw one tag was Red Russian, and then I got to go back and see what the other kind was, because whatever it is, I'm growing it again next year, because those bulbs are huge. Let me see if I can try to get a shot for you. Okay, y'all, it's hard for me to get a shot right now because literally the basket is in the sun. So it's y'all, now we're at bed number 2. These don't seem to be as big, just in looking at the stalks. That's probably the size that you would have at the store. Yeah. You can just lay them right there, honey, and I'll come by and collect them. But those other ones were big. It hurt my back, and I'm like, we at the top of the morning. We can't have hurt backs. Not at this early in the day. So we're gonna time lapse this, get these ready. So if I didn't say, we got 32 from the first bed. So let's see how many we have here. Okay, guys, that bed is done. So we got, I think I counted 30 in that bed. Maybe off a little bit, 1 or 2 the other way, but those are much smaller. Let me see if I can show you. These are much smaller. So y'all, I'm gonna have to go back and watch my own video to see what I planted in what bed. Hold on a second. So this is the size of what was predominantly in that bed. Much smaller. So I want to know what variety this is. Those big ones I like. Of course, we like everything bigger, right? This is probably the typical size that you would find in the grocery store. So it's still edible, still usable. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just smaller than the other one. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch my own video of when I planted this, because I said what I planted when I planted it. And I do that, one, to give you guys some information and education, but also I can go back and see what I said I did, because my little tags are not necessarily all in there. For whatever reason, I want to say that this is music garlic, which is the first time I've done this one, but I can't be for sure. So all in all, in these 2 beds, we have over 60 bulbs of garlic. And then I know that I have 20 more down in the in-ground garden. So it looks like we're going to have at least 80 bulbs of garlic. And I think last year, I don't know, I probably had somewhere around 30 or 40. So we at least doubled, which is about right, because I ordered 2 and a quarter pounds of garlic this last time, and before that I was ordering, I think, like 3/4 of a pound. So anyway, this is garlic that we don't have to buy, and I'm even thinking now, next year I'm gonna do more, because y'all, I use garlic every week. I don't know about you, but I mean, an onion and a garlic, that's like common fare in the kitchen. You gotta have onion and you gotta have garlic. So it's not like it won't get eaten. So I already know now I'm gonna do more next year, just like I doubled the production this year. We'll see how long this lasts. But if I had enough to use fresh and make garlic powder and like maybe like a garlic olive oil, I think that would be fantastic. I don't know that 80 bowls will do that. We'll see. Also, before I end this video, I want to show you, y'all know I was on here crying about my onions a couple of weeks ago. And I was saying, y'all, what's wrong with my onions? They're not bulbing. Y'all, they are bulbing. I think we're going to be A-okay. I'm going to give them another week or two before I harvest them. But let me just show you what they're looking like. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. Do you see this onion? Y'all, we're going to have some onions. When I tell you the Lord will come through every time, they're bulbing, bulbing, bulbing. So I pushed the dirt from around them. I also fertilized them before I went out of town. So I used I ordered these onions from Dixondale Farms, and they have a fertilizer that I buy that's specifically for onions. I think it's a 10-20-10, if I'm not mistaken. I showed you the bag on the original video. But I fertilized the onions as best as I could. There was a lot of weeds in here, but I kind of like dug a trench and kind of like as I was saying, I kind of what you call side dressed the onions. I like dug a trench the same way that I did it when I first planted the onions. I dug a trench alongside the road, dropped some fertilizer in there and watered it. So I think between that and pushing the dirt back and just time and the Lord's blessing, I have onions and I'm so excited. I did pull one out. It was nice size. So the bed that I just showed you was the first bed that I planted. And so the 90-day mark will be like June 7th. I think onions are between 80 to 90 days. And so the 90-day mark is actually in 3 or 4 days. So I probably could technically pull this bed now. The other bed that I want to check, I did that one like a week and a half later. They're bulbing, but they're not as big. This bed definitely has the biggest onions or whatever. And so I probably could pull the first bed, the second bed probably a week and a half later, and then I have another bed that I planted even later than that I'll probably wait to the end of the month. But those are the red onions. Let me show you those because those are bulbing too. You can see that they're bulbing as well. You know that they weren't, they're sitting on top of the ground. They weren't doing that before. This bed has a lot of weeds, even after I just weeded it 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna let these get a little bit bigger and then we'll pull those. So y'all, literally just like that, I have 2 new beds that I can plant in. And as a gardener, that makes you happy because I just pulled those 2 beds of garlic. So I'm excited about my onions, but I'm glad that we got the garlic done. So the only garlic that I have left is down there by the in-ground garden. So let me talk to you a little bit about the garlic. I went back and watched myself on video to see what I planted. And so in the first bed, those big cloves of garlic that I was pulling out, in the first bed, I planted chestnut red, Georgian crystal, and Russian red. The Russian red were the smaller ones from the first bed. The bigger ones was either Georgian crystal or chestnut red. They both look the same. I'm assuming I won't be able to see the red part until I break apart the bulbs. So I know for a fact I will be reordering the chestnut red and the Georgian crystal. And I did the Georgian crystal last year and that was pretty big. So those 2 for sure next year. The second bed where the bulbs were much smaller, that was all music garlic. My first time planting it, and I need to go back and see the description of why I picked it. I'm assuming I picked it. I think it's a pretty popular one, but maybe it was something about the flavor profile. But those were really small compared to the other ones, right? Still good, still usable, but just much smaller. So that's what the music was. And I think down in the in-ground garden, it's music as well, because that's what I had left over. I ordered a pound of the music and like a half a pound of the other stuff. So we'll know next year. We won't be ordering as much music if we order it again, just because I like the big bulbs, y'all. So we got that done. So I have about 20 down at the in-ground tunnel that I'll pull today. And those look relatively small as well. So I'm pretty sure it's the music. So overall, great garlic harvest. I was thinking I should have about 80 bulbs of garlic, which y'all, there's only 52 weeks in the year. So already I know I have enough for a year if I only use 1 bulb a week. And usually I don't use more than 1 bulb of garlic a week. So win, score, so excited. So now what I'm going to do, in case you're new, I'm actually going to cure my garlic so that I can store it. And so curing just means letting it dry out. So I lay it, you can lay it flat in like a single thing. Because I have so much, I'm going to keep it in that tub and it's kind of separated. Again, I push the limit some. But for those that are new that want to do it by the book, you're going to lay it out flat for a couple of weeks in a cool dry, place, damp, cool, dry, and dark place. I just put mine in my garage. I've done it that way for the last 2 years, and it's worked out just fine, even though it ain't real cool in there. Or I can put it in my root cellar, but I'll store it in my root cellar. But anyway, lay it out flat for about 2 weeks. And what you're trying to do is you're going to get the skin to toughen up and get the bulb to dry out. So when I pulled it out of the raised bed, I did not water it. I didn't rinse it. I just kind of shook the dirt off and let it cure for the next 2 weeks. And then I'll see when I go out there to check it, and I'll try to show it on video. It'll be dry and the skin will be much tougher. And that's when we will, clip it. And we will clip it, rinse it off. It'll be all nice and pretty. And then we can store it in the root cellar or in another, in the pantry or something like that. So it'll hang out for 2 weeks to cure. And that's because I'm going to be storing it long term. If I wanted to use the garlic today, I could, right? I'm only curing it because I'm doing long-term storage. So I'm excited about my garlic harvest. I'm telling you, if you are a new gardener, garlic is one of the easiest things to plant and to get a return. The only thing is that you have to wait for it. So if you want some immediate results, garlic is not the easiest thing to get the quickest, probably radishes. Radishes you can plant and have a harvest in like 30 to 40 days. Garlic is easy, but it's going to take you about 6 or 7 months because it's going to overwinter and all of that good stuff. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so excited about my garlic harvest. We're kicking off the summer right. We are kicking off the summer right. And I now have 2 more beds that I can plant. And because I did my crop plan and my thinking ahead of time, if you remember, if you've been watching me, I already know what's going to go in these beds. And guess what? They're already ready. I already have my seedlings ready. They're ready to go because we're putting tomatoes back here, remember? And I started my tomatoes about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they can definitely go out here or they can wait a couple more weeks. So again, we're keeping the food production going. Thank you again so much for joining me. If you like my channel, please leave me a heart, a like, a comment. Let me know what kind of garlic that you've planted and what you've had good results on, because maybe I need to add that to my list next year. And then definitely, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as a part of the community. Until next time, remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. See you next time, friend.